What's up, Views? How are you guys doing? Welcome to the Pursued vlog. My name is Charlie. I am the high school worship leader over at our Henderson campus. And today I'm going to be talking about Chapter 9, Living with a New Identity, from Judd's book, Pursued. So this really struck me and really was an awesome thing to get to talk about because I really feel blessed to have a new identity in God. Coolest thing is God calls us all a new creation when we decide to follow Him. And, we are all blessed and so lucky that God is willing to give us second chances. A cool thing that I read in Judd's book, Judd actually quotes a dude named Packer, and he says, when a Christian sins, he is momentarily suffering from an identity crisis. And this really just struck me because I was thinking about myself, and when I have the temptation to sin and stuff like that, I really feel like I'm two different people. I really feel like I'm having an identity crisis of, man, who am I? Like, oh man, which way should I go? And, I feel like probably all of us have that situation all the time, whether that's at school or at work or with our friends or even with our family. We have these situations where we just feel like we're having an identity crisis and who we are. And that's just what's so awesome about God is when He gives us a new life and gives us a new identity, He does away with any identity crisis. He basically says, no, you know what? You are a new person, you are a new thing, and you are awesome, and you are mine. And Judd actually quotes a verse from 2 Corinthians 5:16 through 17. Anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone, a new life has begun. And man, that is just so powerful because I know me, when I was growing up, I was a pretty dumb kid. I was out skating all around Los Angeles where I grew up, just getting into trouble, finding out ways to get into trouble all the time, going as far as getting expelled from school in 7th and 8th grade. And, I am so blessed that God gave me a second chance, that God gave me a new identity, because when I realized that I was just making such a mess of my life, I decided to dedicate my life to God, and God gave me a new identity, a second chance. And man, that's when it says, He made me a new person. My old life was gone, a new life had begun. And I mean, that's pretty hard for me to understand especially when I was a young kid. But I was so lucky to have that. The first few years of when I decided to follow God and, the identity crises that I would have were huge. I would really have huge, hard times going from group to group because, I would still want to hang out with all my friends that were doing a bunch of dumb stuff. But at the same time, I wanted to go and hang out with my friends from church and, try to do the right thing. And, it's going to be hard the first couple years because you're just figuring it out. And, you're trying to make sense of all this crazy stuff that you got going on. But you know what? Anytime you have that, just look back at that verse. Anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone, a new life has begun. And one thing I want to challenge you guys with is anytime you guys are in those situations, anytime you guys are faced with an identity crisis because you feel, you don't know which way you're going, just think about that verse. Just if you could, even memorize that verse. When a Christian, anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone, a new life has begun. I am a new creation. I have a new life. So just think about that. Just memorize that verse. It's so simple. Just even, I have a new life in God. And that's an amazing great gift that God has given us. And, just pray about that. And I want to encourage you guys, especially if you have any questions with your leaders or you're feeling like you're having identity crisis, have no problem going and talking to your leaders about this because they're going to be able to help you guys and help you guys navigate all these crazy stuff you guys are probably going through. And another huge thing I want to encourage you guys is if you guys aren't in small groups or in a Fuse group, go sign up now. Go to fusestudents.com and sign up for a small group because that is where you guys are going to get plugged in and create these awesome relationships with your friends and make new friends and have awesome people helping you out. So that's it for today. Tune in next time. Hope you guys have a good day. Take it easy.